Locked in my decision to have a collision with my purpose. It is my assignment to be in alignment with my purpose. I'm locked in, going all out, no fear, no doubt. My God, my choice, your will, I'm all yours. Locked in, going all out, no fear, no doubt. My God, my choice, your will, your will, your will. Locked in my decision to have a collision with my purpose. It is my assignment to be in alignment with my purpose. Have a collision with purpose, 'cause you know that you're worth it, and your dream is worth capturing. If I'm not living on purpose, then none of it is worth it. My assignment is uplifting souls for the King, souls for the King, souls for the King.
Greetings, friends of the A Collision with Purpose movement. Welcome to Bridging Generations, Voices of Men in a Changing World. I am Dr. Laxley Stephenson. This groundbreaking podcast delves into the multifaceted experiences of men across different generations. In an era where societal norms and expectations rapidly evolve, this show offers young and older men a unique platform to voice their challenges, triumphs, and perspectives.
So each episode aims to foster understanding and bridge the gap between generations, exploring themes ranging from masculinity and mental health to career dynamics and personal relationships. By bringing together voices from varied age groups, the show sheds light on the commonalities and differences in the male experience, encouraging open dialogue and mutual learning. So whether it's a teenager grappling with the pressures of social media or a senior reflecting on the changing definitions of manhood, Bridging Generations is committed to uncovering the real stories of men navigating the complexities of a changing world, and what a changing world it is. Doc, what is going on?
Man, talk about a changing world. We also have a changing platform. We have not just, we have a woman here with us tonight, Dr. Donna L. Thompson. Is
Lady Donna.
Lady, that's the right name, Lady Donna.
Hello. Good evening.
Wow. Let's talk to Lady Donna for a second. What's going on with you, Lady Donna?
Oh my goodness. What's not going on? I'm excited. I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me on the platform, I must say. So I'm looking forward to this evening's conversation. But other than that, I'm just, kind of in the weeds of wrapping up all the final touches for our event coming up in a few weeks.
Wow.
So busy work.
What happened? All of a sudden, we're almost there. February 22nd is here.
Well,
Just like that.
February's already here. Wow.
Just when we thought we had all the time in the world, it's on us. Juan, it's going to be a big day for you, man.
Yes. A momentous occasion. Very big day. I have the honor of speaking, number one, and then being honored. So it's a great day.
Okay. Last year at the first colloquium, you was a collaborator.
Yes.
In the book, A Collision with Purpose in Pursuit of Purpose. And this year you're being honored.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
How does that make you feel, man?
Great. I think about, all of us, to some degree have been doing work for a number of years, and to be recognized and acknowledged for that work is I think it's just invaluable. Oftentimes you do it, it's a what they call it a labor of love. But oftentimes, even though it's a labor of love on your part, you can sometimes feel unrecognized, or just thankless.
Mm,
um, or it can be thankless work. You don't always get a thank you or get acknowledgement. So this is great.
mm. Share with our audience what you do. Why are we honoring you? Just share with them a little bit about what you do.
Well, just a little bit about myself. I am a lot of things, but one thing that's near and dear to my heart is a community and youth advocate. Um, and I spend a lot of my time coaching and advising and developing youth and young adults. And how that looks from time to time is mentorship. I'm a product of mentorship. I believe in mentorship. And so I just believe, as we often talk about on this platform, paying it forward.
Mm, paying it forward. And you are a mentor with Global Humanity Network as well. You're doing
Absolutely.
an amazing job over there, and we really appreciate you for doing that. Had that been the case, and we knew that we'd be honoring you 2 times. Not just one, but 2 times. Because you're all over the place, man. Giving back, and we appreciate it. Donna is another person. We should be honoring her, even though she's the one putting on the event. You can't honor
She's always working behind the scenes, putting
you
stuff together.
can't honor yourself,
On
Donna.
it.
I am good. I get my honor from seeing everyone being honored and just being happy. So I am wonderful.
But last year we honored her, and she didn't know it was a surprise.
Yeah, yeah.
She was blown away, man. You should have seen her face on the stage when we popped that award out, that thing out, and said Donna L. Thompson. She was like, "Ooh." It
I
was
know
so
I really was, because I was like, wait a minute, I planned this entire thing here, and how is that even possible?
Anyway, you're watching Bridging Generations, Voices of Men in a Changing World. And tonight we have a woman here with us, and she's going to, bless us with her presence and her knowledge, wisdom, and all that good stuff. So welcome, everyone, for joining us. We have Shelly-Ann McCarty. Good night. Good night. Paulette Ricketts Thompson, Caricia Brown, Latrice Edwards. We all appreciate you coming on. So, Donna, let's talk a little bit about the colloquium. And I'm going to pop a video on the screen, and we'll just go through it real quick. We have a guest backstage, and we can't wait to get to him. He's got a story. He's got a big story to share with us tonight. Powerful story at that. So let's do this. Donna, talk to us.
Okay, sure. So, February 22nd at the Colloquium at Shiloh High School. Of course, we're going to have an evening of so many different things, right? We will be honoring individuals in our community that, has been doing the work to serve their community. They're serving their community in various capacities of humanitarian work, right? Whether it's mentorship, helping their community, whatever it is. But these are individuals, and you see they're playing on the screen for us. These are individuals who, they're kind of like your unsung heroes. They do the work, and we just wanting, to take the opportunity to honor them. And you'll see like a number of faces. And what's really nice about this is that the individuals that we're honoring, they are from varied backgrounds. We have honorees coming from Jamaica. We have honorees from, like Dr. Stephen liked to say, across the pond, which is in Africa, a big pond. But we have
The big pond.
but we have individuals from Africa that we're honoring. We have individuals from California, New York. So once again, even though we're based in Atlanta, Georgia, we're not just honoring people who are in our immediate community, but we look at individuals who are doing the work globally, and we want to take the opportunity to honor them. So the colloquium is where we get to actually do this and show our appreciation and let them know, we thank them for the work that they're doing so that they can go out and continue doing the work that they're doing. So big evening that is going to happen there. And of course, we have the launch of daily insights that will be oh my gosh, like every time I see this, it's like it just brings up all kinds of emotions, right? I start giggling because this is such a powerful body of work, and I am so proud of this work that's done by Dr. Stephenson. But it's just, I'm proud because of the impact that it's going to have on you all when you get this book in your hands. So this is a big thing that's going to be happening on February 22nd. It's going to be Daily Insights Unveiled, Your Odyssey to Find Purpose. You will have a copy of that once you purchase your tickets. So get your tickets. You definitely want to have a place in that theater comes February 22nd. And also ticket sales will be going up this week. So I would say jump on it today, tomorrow, get your tickets.
And Donna, I posted the link for the event to purchase your ticket. So as Donna is saying now, and Donna is really serious about that, prices are going up and they're going up Wednesday. I'm also posting the link just in case you cannot attend the event. You can purchase the book and it's a must read. But Donna, the biggest, most important piece of this event is the scholarships that will be given. We'll be giving away scholarships to students. Students in attendance, and couple of students in Kenya will also receive scholarships as well. So that's the big deal. That's a big deal because there we are, looking at the next generation of dreamers, leaders. And we're all about, doing what we can to support them, to provide a means to help them with their education. Also, it should be said, and it's worth noting, that students attend all of our events for free. All of it for free. Juan, we're going to turn it to you. Your thoughts on the colloquium.
No, this is a great opportunity for a number of reasons for a number of people. As Dr. Donna said, just the opportunity for attendees to come and just see the unsung heroes, and not just our community, but like you said, across seas. I think it's something that the work that we're doing and the connections that we're making is global, because that's the society in the world that we live in is globalized. So being able to reach across the pond, as you would say, and acknowledge a brother and sister for their remarkable work is just invaluable. But to have the youth of today, the future leaders, to come and witness what it looks like to edify and uplift your community, uplift your neighbor, uplift unsung heroes, and see them recognized and acknowledged, I think is big. And then have the opportunity to get a scholarship to continue their education, that they one day would be in the same position that they're witnessing on that night. I think it's pretty big.
So as of right now, we're looking to do 5 scholarships at the venue and 2 in Kenya. And we're also looking for a donor to make a contribution so we can do 1 or 2 in Jamaica for students in Jamaica. So if you're watching, if you're listening, reach out to us. We're looking, we need your support. We would like to also donate 2 scholarships for students in Jamaica. All right, so we have a guest tonight and don't want to keep him backstage much longer. So let's take a quick break and then we'll bring him on in fine style, collision with purpose style. All right, let's take a quick break.
I'm a boy kid, I'm a boy kid. I'm a boy kid, I'm a boy kid. I wake up in the morning and I praise the Lord. I thank Him for His protection, and I walk in His steps, declaring that today's provision is set up for me. I love God and I love my friends. I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid. I put on my armor And I read his word, blessing come out of my mouth. Cause I know to whom I belong, I am bold for Christ. Holy Spirit dwelling within me, carrying his presence wherever he sends me. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid. Loving others as he told me to pray for healing, miracles to see, knowing my identity in Christ, he is in me. I am a bold kid, he loves me, standing firm on his word, proclaiming everything I heard, not afraid because he is with me. Be bold. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid. Put on my armor, and I read his word, blessing come out of my mouth. Because I know to whom I belong, I am bold for Christ. Holy Spirit dwelling within me, carrying his presence wherever he sends me. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid.
All right, welcome back to Bridging Generations, Voices of Men and a Woman.
And a woman.
Changing world. What a changing world we're living in. All right, let's bring on our guests. Let's bring him on. Fine style.
All righty. So before we bring him on here, let me just give us a little background of who we have that's joining us this evening. We have none other than Mr. Jermaine Johnson. He is a teacher by profession, and he currently serves as vice president of Passion and Purity, which is a Christian youth organization that is dedicated to helping young people find what they are passionate about and to help them to achieve their goals. He also serves as a staff advisor for Interschool Christian Fellowship, which is located at the St. Catherine High School. And this is actually in Jamaica, West Indies. So without further ado, a drum roll.
Welcome.
Hey, thank you so much. Good night, everyone. I'm just listening. It's my first time on, but I am really, all that I'm seeing is just resonating with me. And I'm saying this is something big. This is something, that the world needs. Yeah. Really impressed by what I'm seeing. And thank you guys for having me.
Man, it is our pleasure. We're honored to have you. So, Jermaine, you're from Jamaica. You are in Jamaica right now.
Yes, I am.
Take us back to your early days. Where did you grow up in Jamaica? What was life like for you as a child, especially as a child growing up?
Wow. So for me, let me start. I am from a community called Guyzil. And Guyzil is unique. It's in the parish of St. Catherine. And it really depends on where you are in Guyzil. You're either in the parish of St. Catherine, St. Mary, or St. Anne. If you look on the map of Jamaica and you search for Guyzil, you will see it's bordering on 3 parishes. So the community is that big. And so I start there, and I'm from a very big family. I'm the last of 9. Yes, 9. I always tell persons that, my mom and dad had 8 children, and somehow I came along. And I always say that because my brother who I follow, his name is Edwin Johnson Jr., so he was named after my father, and we are actually 9 years apart. So, I always say, God just allowed me to come. But growing up in Guyzil, much fun times. I wouldn't consider that we were poor, farming community. But my mom and dad ensure that, education is key. Every single person, go to high school and, push education quite a bit. They weren't able to go to high school because they at the time they would have not had high school for them. But they worked very hard. They were farmers. My father, he was a painter. I mean, very good painter. And I'm saying was because, and unfortunately, my mom passed 2 years ago and my father 4 years ago. And both of them at the age of 80 years old. But the house was always buzzing. I had nieces and nephews that were in my house. And so I grew with many of them as if they were my brothers and sisters, because most of my older brothers and sisters, they were out of the house already. And then they started having children. So I have nieces and nephews that are older than I am. So you can understand that dynamics. And when we would meet up, they would say little uncle, that kind of thing. Or they run tricks wherein they will not tell persons that I'm their uncle. They will say I'm their cousins, and I'll be confused. I was like, how could I be your cousin? And your sister is my mother, and that kind of thing. But as time goes, it was fun times. And the community has a primary school and a high school. So naturally, I would have gone to the what we call early childhood basic school. So I'd have gone to the basic school, the primary school, and the high school. And while growing up, there was just this drive for excellence, and so we had a test that you would move on from primary school to high school called common entrance. And so in grade 5, about 10 of us were put up to do the common entrance, as a trial. And out of that, we passed, all of us. And so at the age of 10, I was graduating from primary school. So, you had 6 levels, grade levels. So I skipped grade 6. And within a few weeks, I was in high school. And so that was a challenge in itself, navigating as a 11-year-old in high school. But as I said, the community very close-knit. Most persons know each other. We are friends, family. And looking back now, I'm telling you, I had fun times. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
I'll ask this. You speak a lot about family and just being the last of 9. Who are the most influential figures in your upbringing?
Wow. My dad, I will start there. Edwin Johnson. My father was a gentle giant, and he was one of those persons who were very hardworking. Didn't talk much in terms of have any arguments, but he will hold a conversation with people. He was much into all that was happening in the community. He was all about service. And so he, as I said, he had a farm. And while we are coming from the field and gathering products, we would have to stop several houses, because all of those things that he's carrying is not for his house. So it's for persons who are, indigent, persons who just don't have it. You will hear him say to you, go over to auntie so-and-so, go over to this person and give them this. And so you would leave the farm with maybe 2 bags of products or produce, and you reach home with a half a bag, like literally. That's the type of person, he was. And so I grew up seeing that and saying, whoa, this is who I want to be. And then there's a point in my life, and, as a family, my mom got sick. She had stroke and she couldn't walk for 7 years. This is like a whole miracle in itself. And I saw a man stay in the house, and he took care of her. He washed clothes. He did everything. Wow. And as a young boy looking and seeing a father that didn't run away from the challenges that came, that took care of his wife, I said, wow, I always say, if I'm half the man, that he is, I would be really. So my dad, I would stay there. There were other persons along the way, but just as you talk about childhood, I would say my father, was that person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. So I'm gonna ask you a question, right? But I
Yeah.
wanted to point out something before I ask you that question.
Yeah.
Because I know I usually come on a different show during the week. But I wanted to point this out for especially our audience, is that we've had a number of teachers that have come on the show. And there is one thing, and I think it's worth pointing out. There's one commonality that you all have, and it speaks to the people of Jamaica. And I want y'all to hear me. It speaks to the people of Jamaica. The commonality that you all have is how you take care of your communities. Every single person that's been on this show have shared growing up in Jamaica how their parents, their grandparents always gave them produce, different things, groceries, whatever. And they would all, as children, they would have to take it to their neighbors, take care of their communities. And I think that's very important to point out, that you all have that commonality on that island. And that is something to really embrace and be proud of, because you take care of your communities. So kudos with all that you guys have been doing and how you've been raised. That's something to be very proud of.
Yes.
But
that is true.
growing up, did you always envision yourself in education, ministry, and in youth development?
No, no. I must say that, I have a sister, and I must, give shout out to her. Her name is Loretta Dawes Collins. She retired now, but still in education. She heads up one of the Heart NSTA Trust outposts, I would want to say, at the Philippa Baptist Church in Spanish Town. So she's a retired vice principal. So she was in education. I have a brother also. He's a mathematics teacher. He's not on the island now. He's in a small island. So there were two persons in education, and I didn't really want to be in education because the money is one deterrent. I was like looking like no. And then I always wanted to be, somehow I was gravitated towards being a police officer, because I have two brothers who were police officers. So it's, again, I say it's a service family, police, persons in banking and finance and so forth. So I wanted to do that. But while on my journey, acquiring subjects and so forth, what happened is that I was out of a job pretty much, left high school, couldn't go to college. And so my parents, my family literally couldn't afford, sending me to college. And someone came who my mother helped. My mother helped this person years ago. The person came and said, "What are you doing? Home, sitting home," and asked the big question, "Do you want to sign up to become a teacher?" And I was like, "Huh? Teacher? No." And then she said, "Yes, man." And she was convincing enough, Miss Janet Williams, this Dr. Janet Williams at Charter Teachers College. And so I signed the form and I wrote, social studies first, and then home economics, which is another story by itself. And so that gave me a little bit of hope. And that came right in the midst of trying to make a decision to take the police test. So I was going to take the police test the Friday, and this was like the Wednesday, and so I just said, okay, I will not take the test anymore. I'll wait on the application. And so, a few weeks later, I got a call from the Michael University. You might say, "So you applied to Shortwood and end up at the Michael?" So that again was just, another where in persons, Mrs. Foster Allen at the time, she was the principal of Shortwood. They were not ready to take males. And just for context, Shortwood Teachers College normally had just females. And
Mm.
so in about 2004, they were trying to make a transition to include males. And so the course that I applied for was not, ready as yet to accept males. And so she looked at my file and said, more than having this young man sit out for another year, I will forward his information to Michael. And so I got a call from Michael to come and do an entry level test, and the rest is history. As you would say, that's where I actually finished my diploma and studies. So I didn't always want to become a teacher, I'm telling you, but I realize I'm loving it, and I see that it allows me to meet people and to learn and so forth.
Wow. So often in life, it's not what you want to do, right? It's what you're
No.
called to do. And
Yes.
clearly, it was called to be a teacher. By the way, condolences on your moms and your dad.
Yes.
Say that. But Jermaine, you are clearly a man about your faith, and you're a man about purpose. So my question to you is, were there any defining moments in your childhood that tested your faith, but also shape who you are today, your purpose?
Wow. Yes. The decision one to do home economics, I might say, how is that? Because in grade 7, you are again 11 years old. You are looking at the world. At that time, those who do home economics were just girls, and boys go to what we call woodwork, and girls go to home ec. And so I went to industrial arts class or woodwork class and had an allergy. I was allergic to dust, so I was actually sick and stayed home, I think, for a day or two. And my mom and dad, being the persons they are, and back then you don't, as a child, you don't stay home, you go to school. And so they called the teacher. It wasn't far from the school, and they knew the teachers as well. And they called the teachers and said, which other class can he go into? And they said, the girl class. Pretty much, that's what they said, which is home ec. And so my mother and father made the decision to put me inside that class. And it came to a point, the first few days, it was rough. There was, I wouldn't say bullying as to the extremities, no, but there was some teasing going on and those kind of things. And I think the teachers as well, very wonderful teachers, but I think they weren't ready for me as yet, to be in that space. And I started to question quite a bit. I was saying, so God, why this had to happen to me, that I am the one, going into the girl class, and when the teacher would say, ladies stand, I would be like, I'm not a girl, and I would sit, and that would cause some kind of conflict, so that was one point. But then at that same time, talking about spiritual encounter, I somehow was having a conversation with my mom and saying to her, Mom, there is more to life. I want to go into the church. We grew up in the Methodist church at the time. And I said, I want to do more. So it was at that same point in time, I was searching, trying to find who I was and the whole question. And then also being, the last one in my family and seeing my brothers and sisters, some of them gone on, different areas, and questioning the whole thing as to, okay, this lady here is my mom who is old, and so it was just a time. And looking back now, I'm saying that if it wasn't for just the way how the family structure was, I think I would have somehow kind of lost my way, from who. But persons were just constantly there. Persons knew you, and so you couldn't slip up. Because everybody knew you and knew that you were, my father's name was Mas Jim, in the community, and Miss Nice's boy. That was my mom. So people didn't allow you to get off. And so, that moment, and I remember talking to him about, wanting to commit my life to the Lord. And there was a man by the name of Mr. Grant, and the communities somewhat, as I said, distance, a rural community. And so the nearest town would be Linstead, which is 12 miles away. And so, you had to do discipleship class, what we call, baptismal classes. And this man would come every Thursday. And there were about 5 of us in the class at first, and then it dwindled down to sometimes just me alone. And this man would come every Thursday at 3 o'clock, committed to, teaching me. And I looked at that a couple weeks ago and said, God, you did this just for me. Like literally, this man drove 12 miles, coming up a road, very winding road called Devil's Race Course. Anybody know that road? You are seeing the mountain beside you, and then you're looking down. It's like if you drop off that, you are down into some precipice. And I looked at it and said, whoa, this was dedication. So that defined, and set a foundation for me throughout that time. And I think, over the years, I would have built upon that. But that was a defining moment for me. Yeah.
Some foundation that is too. Before we go to the next question, let me read some comments here. And clearly you have some friends who are watching. I'm seeing things like Batch 169 out and stunting. We do it with our might, and I know we're talking about that's Natrice there, and value instilled, and our good friend Lisa Richmond is saying good evening, Dr. Laxley and Dr. Donna and everyone, right? And then there's a comment here, happy you did not take that test, best institution in the Western Hemisphere, Juan Michael.
Yes. I see my Michael friends out.
Yeah. And family structure is important. Yes, it is. A life surrendered as a child is a whole life saved. Wow. Yeah. And yes, so great testimony from Carisia. God has a purpose for you. That man was a dedicated man. All right, Donna, put it back to you. Unmute, Donna.
My apologies. I'm here talking and I'm still muted.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So let me, because you speak about, your faith, of course, and discovering your faith. But let me ask you, what was your first personal encounter with the Lord? And was there a specific moment that actually solidified your faith and your commitment?
Yes. So I always tell persons that was, again, Methodist, growing up, said 11, 12 years old. That was one moment. But then, you are growing as a teenage boy, and you're in church, but you are not so much dedicated to, you don't understand what you're doing, right? Mm-hmm. And so you still have friends, influential friends. And I always have company around. And my mom would remind me sometimes that I was the one who would take people home. So I had a friend in grade 7. I met him for the first time, and I took him home for lunch. The very first day of school. But that was 12, but at the age of about 18 or so, but I can't remember the date though. It's 2003. It was on my birthday, July 31st, 2003. I had an encounter at a youth camp in Manchester. That's one of the parishes in Jamaica. And where I was just saying, Lord, I know that you have called me. This was a different church now. And you had, other kind of teachings, and you hear about purpose. And so persons are exposing you to purpose. And my pastor at the time, he was Nigerian. So we were talking about the African connection. We have that as well, yeah? So he was Nigerian. And Bishop Joseph Adigol, his name is, right? And so he was just always encouraging us to be dedicated to the Lord and so forth. I said, God, I just wanted more. I want an experience. I want a birthday present that I've never had. There were some issues happening with family by this time, and I was like, not feeling my brothers and sisters. Let's be real here. I was saying some of them are old and they're not helping me, and, going through some teenage turmoil now. And I cried out to the Lord and I said, God, I need an encounter with you. And that night, we were just worshiping right there at Camp Cobbler in Manchester, just worshiping the Lord. And somehow I knew I was on my face. I was crying. I was hugging people. I was seeing persons. And, you know, in Jamaica, we had this thing and hug up man and whatever. But I tell us that night, I was hugging every brethren. I was just saying, I love you. And that's not my, thing to do. But then I just felt so light, as if perspective started coming to my mind. I was like, okay, God, this is why this is happening. It's almost like a Joseph experience, So this is why that. And everything just coming clear to me. And I'm like, okay, all the bad experiences. And I've had some experiences where I've been robbed. I've been, shot at. That's how I tell you. So I was trying to make sense of all of these negative experiences and saying, why people don't like me? Why is it that you go into a space and somebody don't see you? You are robbing a shop and somebody see you and pick you out. I want to kill you and I'm doing nothing. And I'm, so that experience has brought me into this whole new level of seeing things and saying, God, it's love. And also making me light on my feet. And I use the word light on my feet to say that when things happen now, I don't take any time to deal with it because I know I don't have, any can't keep malice. If something is happening and we're having an issue, I'm going to want to deal with it. I don't want to go to my bed with that and that kind of thing. So that encounter at that camp, it just allowed me to see things for what it is. It allowed me to embrace who I am and to say that I am a black young man, but God loves me inside of this and also love the persons who were criticizing me at the time. And I started even helping more, and so I experienced, what we would say the baptism of the Holy Spirit. And I'm telling you, that set me free. And from that day, my perspective has just shifted as to how I see challenges and even people that, quote unquote, opposing me. I see it a different way. Yeah.
Well, that's a follow-up. Right? That's rather an observation. Donna, you had made a point that about teachers and the commonalities that you're recognizing, seeing, and experiencing from all the teachers coming on. One thing I've noticed as well, all the teachers been coming on our platform, they're so grounded into their spirituality. They know who they are and what they're about. So that's another thing that is jumping out. And maybe, just maybe, that's one of the reasons why what you noted is so evident, so obvious, and it's happening. So, so again, it speaks to why it's important to be a rounded person, in every sense of the word. We're not just here walking and just occupying space.
Right.
Faith is important, purpose is important, and of course, we're a purpose organization, right? We're all about purpose. So I think it's a good time. Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about faith, purpose, and youth empowerment. We're going to get to education and leadership, but that's what you're all about as well. So we'll take a quick break, and let's break with this one.
That strive through fire and flame, they find their way, becoming iron where courage holds sway. Becoming iron, with hearts forged in fire, tales of courage and conviction rising even higher, displaying strength in the fiercest fight, becoming iron, shining in the night. Faces the darkest night, the empowered man fights with all his might. The resilient man stands unwavering and strong. The inspired man knows where he belongs. Together they rise, conquering fears, becoming iron through trials and fears. The empowered man fights with all his might. The resilient man stands unwavering and strong. The inspired man knows where he belongs. Becoming iron rose where he belongs. Becoming iron, shining in the night. Becoming iron, with hearts forged in fire. Tales of courage and conviction, rising even higher. Displaying strength in the fiercest fight. Men becoming iron, shining in the night. The brave man faces the darkest night. The empowered man fights with all his might. The resilient man stands unwavering and strong, shining in the night. And the tales unfold and the battles new. Convictions light sees them through. From abysses deep to the morning light. They becoming iron in the endless fight. Becoming iron with hearts forged in fire. Tales of courage and conviction, rising even higher. Displaying strength in the fiercest fight. Men becoming iron, shining in the night. And the tales of old and the battles new. Convictions light sees them through. From abysses deep to the morning light. They become iron in the endless fight. They become iron in the endless fight. And the tales of old and the battles new. Convictions light sees them through.
All right, welcome back to Bridging Generation, Voices of Men. And right there, what was that? Becoming Iron, Tales of Courage and Conviction. All right, so the brave man, he faces the darkest nights. The empowered man fights with all his might. The resilient man stands unwavering and strong. And the inspiring man knows where he belongs. We're not going to go around the room, or maybe we should. Jermaine, which one are you? Which one you identify with most? You can't be all. Not that this.
Oh, you want me to start? I was just enjoying that song. I'm so good. But I think maybe there's one about resilient.
Right.
I think that's where I would fit.
That's where you are. Okay. And Juan.
You know, I usually say resilient, but I'm just self-reflection. I would say brave man.
Welcome. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. So the resilient man stands unwavering and strong. The brave man faces the darkest nights. Well, haven't we faced some dark nights?
Yes.
And here we are.
Still here.
Donna. Which
Hi.
one are you?
Yes, dog.
Which one are you?
Oh, I've never thought about that. Since I'm not around.
The brave woman, the resilient woman, the inspiring woman. You know, we're gonna twist it, right?
Mhm.
And the empowered woman. Which one are you?
Yeah, I think probably resilient.
The resilient woman. Wow. Unwavering and strong. That you are. In fact, you're all of them. Juan, you're all of them. Jermaine, you're all of them. But for the purpose of this exercise, you can only pick one. And this anthology, we will be making the announcement on February 22nd by invitation only. This is going to become these four men, and how the stories are told will become the template for how men should be in this world that we live in. How about that? It will define, it will be the template. All right, so let's get back to our guest, the resilient man himself, Mr. Jermaine Johnson. Who's up first? Well, I think you're up first.
Yes. Well, let's talk about, the purpose and youth empowerment. So as the vice president of Passion and Purity, what are the biggest challenges young people face today? And how does your organization help them overcome these struggles, these challenges?
All right. So one of the things I want to say, shout out to our founders. They Miss Donnet Norman and Mr. Andrew Norman, they are actually teachers. They teach at Woolmer's Boys School and Woolmer's Girls School, respectively. And so in 2008, that's 16 years ago, there were some challenges happening within our high schools, and they decided to have a one-day conference. Now, I wasn't at the conference today, but I heard about it, right? I wanted to go, but there were some other things happening. But there's a young lady who was from my church who actually went to the conference this Saturday. And when she came to church this Sunday, she's like, Uncle Jermaine, you missed something yesterday, because this room was filled with, at the time, it was mostly girls, right? And at Woolmer's Girls. And they were just talking about purpose and passion and just how persons can get into that. And one of the ways in which I love about Passion and Purity, we have grown, and we have had about 21 conferences since then. We have written over 20 books. 16 of those books, 17 rather, of those books are written within a subject context. But we have some books. This one is called Real Men. Right? Real Men. And on the cover, you will see a lion and a lamb, right, on it. And we are saying that real men love God. Jesus is the lion and the lamb.
Yeah.
And so within the context of this book, how do we reach people? We have what I call issues and answers. And so at the back of every one of our books, we have an issue. These are like real life issues where young people may have asked in a forum and they didn't get the answer. And so one is like, I'm tired of living and I feel like giving up. That's a real question. And so we'll have I'm been depressed for some time now. I hate my life. I do not like my life. I want to take my life. So that's someone who is in a suicidal place. And so the answer is also given that, from the scriptures. And so the Bible says that hope deferred make the heart sick. But when the desire is fulfilled, it's a tree of life. That's Proverbs 13:12. If there's something that you want and have not received it, or is there something you want and not receive it, the above scripture describe persons who are depressed. And then we will give guides. There's a man by the name of Dr. Donovan Thomas. He is founder of a movement or a ministry called Choose Life International. So he specializes in suicide preventions and so forth. So there'll be also quotes of other persons who would have gone through and can help. And so the issues and answers are here. And there are several issues it goes across, not just talking about suicide, but different things. Another way that we do outside of having this written material is that we have sessions that we call e-connections. And so every last Sunday of every month, yesterday was one, we had an e-connection talking about something topical relating to the youth. And so young people are able to come onto our platforms and get the questions answered. I'm telling you, one of the biggest thing at our conferences and anywhere to go, we go to churches, we go in the media, we turn up, we go into schools to the devotions, and we are not afraid to answer the questions that the young people are asking. Many times when people hear about purity, we think only sex. And one of the things Passion and Purity does is to take that away to say that there are young people who are not into sex enough, but they are struggling with other things. And so they need help. They need a forum to ask those questions. They don't feel, comfortable maybe to ask at church, but they come to a forum, they write on a sheet of paper what they are going through, and we are able to answer the questions as such. So those are some of the ways. We have our intimate WhatsApp group. We have camps. So over the 16 years, we have expanded so much right now that every weekend, I'm telling you, by none, we are somewhere in a particular space. Either we're in a school, we're in a church, we're on social media platforms, we're somewhere. So sometimes persons may not hear about us doing this big bang because we believe whatever we're doing for the Lord is for the Lord. And so sometimes we don't necessarily publicize everything that we do. So people will say, we haven't seen you, but we are there working in the lives. And I will say this much, every Wednesday, we have something called P. Because we talk about men, right? We have something called P for men. And it is passionate, pure, powerful, purposeful young men. And every Wednesday night, unless it's some, thing happening where we don't have that meeting, there's a small group meeting of young men. Sometimes it can be as little as 5, it can be 20, just young men coming on, and we meet, and this is consistent. This is consistent where there's discipleship, people can ask questions, and out of that, we build relationship with each other. So right now, one of our brothers, he lost his mother, I think last week or so, a couple of days ago, and we would have sent messages, but that brother knows that one of us is going to call, and we are going to reach out and say, hey, what do you need? How the arrangements will go for funeral, how things will, are you okay? He's like a only male in his family right now, the only boy. And so we are there for people in difficult times. So those are some of the ways. As I said, there are myriads of ways that we reach out to our youth, and we just want a platform where they can ask the questions, because that's very important. And we are not going to judge them and say don't ask it, because people are in different space in their lives, and we have seen the testimonies of persons who have been, really suicidal, and persons who thought that life was just going to end for them, and they have come out. And the testimonies are here too in the books, and we have people like gospel artists who will write articles and so forth. I just want to say this, if you allow me, just a minute,
Please.
to say that the way how the Passion and Purity books are written are a little bit different, in the sense that we write them in a subject context. And what we mean by that, we have books that are written on home economics, books that are written on music, books that are written on biology, on English. So each subject area, we have tackled that, and then the virtue of love, we deal with that as well. And so like Valentine's Day coming up now, we have what we call Love Week, and we partner with an organization you would have read in my bio, Interschool Christian Fellowship, that's ISCF. They have been around for 70 odd years. A group called Youth for Christ. We want to, we partner with this group, so we don't reinvent the wheel. And so areas wherein they can come on board and help us, and we move in together, and we go into these schools and we declare Jesus Christ and open the floor for the young people to respond. Yeah, that's the major thing. So I know it was a mouthful, but those are some of the things.
That's good stuff.
It was a good mouthful. A good mouthful. Awesome work you're doing there, man. Don, I think you're on next.
Yeah. Well, I commend you for that. Definitely good work serving once again, like we say, right? Serving the community. But let me ask you, you also play, like you just mentioned, a role as staff advisor for the Interschool Christian Fellowship, right? That you partner with. How do you guide students to balance faith with the realities of modern life through your fellowship?
So the fellowship. So one of the things is that word about balancing. It's very key. ISCF is really a student-led movement, and so one of the things that you will see happen at any ISCF, and is encouraged, is that the leadership is all students. So we as staff advisors will stand ready to guide them, and so they will have issues, and through the meetings we encourage them to do inductive Bible study and those kind of things, but also reminding them that yes, you are a Christian first at school, but also you must attain the academics. So let me give you an example. there within our ISCF group, we try to check in on individuals. So we just don't want to be zealous alone about, okay, they're doing devotion well, they're doing all the other things well, but we hear that they are C student or they're failing something. And so a teacher or older youth who is more experienced in something, in the subject matter, will take that person along and to say, let me help you. And there's a real life scenario that happened recently. Someone we weren't aware that she, had a challenge in a particular way. And so we have committed ourselves to that person to say, okay, we are going to ensure that these financial obligations as best as possible, are taken care of. And so they see ISCF as not just, okay, come in and we're just praising the Lord and we're just trying to get, having a jolly good time, but we are building that team, that mentorship, that support, and not just building them to say, okay, you are coming in, getting all of these things for ISCF, but training them as to how to give back, right? And so balance is very important. We have a staff complement of not just myself, but we have other teachers coming in. For years, sometimes it was just, 1 or 2 teachers. We have about 6 teachers now on board. And so they come with their own strengths. And then, the students execute, and we just share time. We have our lunchtime meetings. Sometimes we will, sacrifice our lunchtime and sit with some of the students and meet with them and let them share, because the school day goes so fast. And, after school persons are trying to run home. And so we just try to be there for them. The current challenges, one thing we try to tell our young people, that every situation that's happening right now, somebody face something similar to it. So to even be more direct. And so we pull present day examples. Yes, Daniel faced, in the lions den, but is there a Daniel that present now that's facing their lions den situation? Can we pull that to the fore? Can we put those examples here? And so we'll ensure to show them the context of the scripture, that it is not just 2,000 years ago. It's happening right now. And also, we share our lives. As a staff advisors, you have to be vulnerable. You have to be open and share your life to let them know areas where we would have made mistakes and how it is that we corrected those mistakes. And so they will look and they say, okay, I can overcome this. Maybe it's not the same thing that Sir went through, but it's something similar. And so they are able to face some of what, is happening right now. I don't know. I hope I answered the question.
Yes.
Yes, you did. You did.
I mean, talk about real life.
Yeah.
Yes, life is real, right?
It is.
It's so real. What's interesting to me is that some time ago, you were just shoved into this home economics class, right?
Telling you.
Just drop you off in there. And now you're the president of the Jamaican Home Economics Association. How did that happen?
How did that happen? That is almost like a shoved in again situation.
A collision with purpose.
I'm telling you, I had so amazing teachers. So I served as vice president for about 6 or so years before this moment. So I became president in 2023. I just want to be clear, about May 2023. And so we have what is called our annual general meeting. And so that's when the voting will take place and so forth. And, I wasn't really looking to say, okay, you'd move on. Maybe in my mind, I was saying, okay, I'm good at PR, I may want to serve here. But then when the nominations happen, the room was set up. I am seeing my lecturers from both, the MICO and also say University of Technology, because I went there to do an upgrade as well. So I'm seeing persons from there. I'm seeing persons who knew me from Guys Hill. So I'm looking in the room, I'm like, hold on, God, what does that mean? So when persons went up and to say, okay, they are going to cast votes now, and if there's any opposition, I was like, what are these people doing? Don't they know that I don't feel ready. I don't think I am. And the other day I said to myself, Lord, I felt like I'm in grade 7 again, trying to navigate this thing, because there are males in home economics, but not, the number is not large, just a few of us. But the persons that I have around, a great team of persons and persons who, and I respect our elders. There are some things that we want to do new, some things that we are coming up now. We have our Caribbean conference. I say this, in Trinidad, which is that's the Caribbean Home Economics Association, right? So that's Kai. And so the president, the outgoing president of Jamaica, she's now the president for the Caribbean. So, we are putting together a team to go to Trinidad in April for that conference. And so it's something new, but people are there guiding and ensuring that some things happen. Some things I still don't know all of. And again, as a male, there are some things that we do differently. Like, I don't like the aprons. I'm just saying this, like the frilly stuff. And I must give thanks to my teacher, Miss Panton. She's now a principal of McGraw High School. She decided to make a lab coat for me. So if I was to put in a policy, I would say let there be more lab coats in schools, because the males, we feel like we are doctors, We don't feel that frilly stuff, right, Juan? Yeah, that, I don't like it. So I would be the coat. The coat made me feel like I'm a doctor. Yeah. And for those thinking, home economics is heavily science-based as well, because I've taught integrated science. And when you're going to college, you have to do the science. So people don't think that is only cook alone. We do. It's heavily science-based. You have quite a lot of careers that, that spin off, food science and others, and also in clothing and textiles. I learned how to sew, and I helped a few men on the dorm when I was in college how to sew their clothes. I taught them how to put on a button, so those things, it really helps quite a bit. But it's a journey. It's a journey, and I enjoy. And my wife loved the idea that I know to cook. So when she started, and she say, you can manage, you can look about something for yourself.
This is a good point to transition to family and personal reflections, and Juan, you lead off on that.
Well, we talked about, your family, and just the tips and principles and things you let and life lessons you learn just from your family dynamic. But you mentioned your wife, and so you've been married for 16 years?
16, yeah. This year,
remarkable achievement. Congratulations. So how did you meet your wife, and what kept your marriage strong over those 16 years?
I'm telling you. So Sharna, my wife's name is Sharna. Not Shauna, Sharna. Sometimes I get it wrong, but it's Sharna, and she forgives me. She loves me very much. But we actually met on a church trip. Go figure, right? And so she's from another section of the island, Montego Bay. And so I was in Kingston. And so both churches, somehow thought of an idea, pastors, to have a trip, meeting in Ocherias, which is like the middle of the island. And so on that day, I met her. I saw her, said hello, and she said hi. Sounds like a song, right? Said hello and she said hi, yes. And so somehow I heard her name, but water was in my ears because it was actually a water park. So I heard she said something, and then later on in the day, she had a game. And she's looking around now because she's a youth leader. She was a youth leader at her church. I was one of the youth leaders from my church as well. And so she said she saw me. This is her version, you know, and decided to get me involved to get all the people around because she said I look like somebody who can get everybody together. And so she gave me a task to tie a pencil, tie a string around my waist, and to let some pencil go into a bottle. And I did it at one try. And she was like, "You are smart." You know, I'm like, "Yes, I am smart." And so we just had a conversation there. But few days before this, though, we were having a conference in Kingston. And so I actually met her mom. What's it? I met her mom a couple of days before. I was doing the training. And somehow I was treating her very nice. So when she came, you know, the trip day, her mom was like, "This is the guy I met in Kingston." I didn't know there was a conversation going on at home about a guy in Kingston. Like, hold on. So this is the guy you met in Kingston. I was told the story after, you know. But then we met that day. We, long and short of it, we exchanged numbers. And we just started talking as friends, right? I was still in college at the time. And the fast forward, I actually was summoned. I was called by her pastor to meet her pastor a couple months later. Because he's like her father. What's the fathering thing again, you know? Because her dad had passed, you know, he was murdered. And so this pastor, no, Pastor Keith Williams, was her dad. And so I had to go to Montego Bay, travel in March 2007, right? I remember it now, March 2007. A Saturday morning to meet with the pastor, because the pastor said, "This boy, I want to know who he is. He's not going to come and just take my girl and mess her up." And so I had a meeting with him. About 3 hours it lasted for. Up to this day, I cannot answer some of the questions he asked me. Okay. But so that's what happened, and we did counseling, etc. But to answer the question about lasting, we are friends. We laugh about everything. If we are in an upset way, yesterday something happened, and I'm like, "Honey, I don't like how I feel. I'm upset about this." And we talk about it, get it dealt with. And we have one son. He came 10 years in the marriage, you know, after 10 years. So we were having issues there. And, you know, in the 10th year, Malachi, you know, came. But persons are there. So we have never been out of help, you know, counsel, people being there for having challenges. She has her family. Her family is a smaller family than mine. But they are, you know, very close-knit together. My mother-in-law, her mom, Auntie Jean, I call her, from the very first day I met her. She's just super. There's a point in my life I wasn't working for a couple months, and so, you know, she was the only one working, and her family, my family, you know, our family, everybody just one, provided food. And so even my neighbors didn't know I wasn't working. They thought I was on leave. You know, because she ensured that, and they make sure food is there, and, you know, our bills were paid until I got a job again. And so I'm telling you, to any young person, marriage is honorable, it's good, but be friends. So as you know, 16 years, we look and say, "Whoa, we were just in our early 20s, and we were wondering, what are we doing?" You know. And it was never about rushing into marriage. As I said, you know, people said, "Oh, because of sex and whatever." No, it wasn't that. We just really love each other. And we said, "Let's see what life," you know, and she's just awesome. I'm telling you, awesome. Yeah.
Is she watching you right now?
Well, she's trying to ensure that our son, he has some homework doing, so she's trying to get that out of the way.
That's important. That's important.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, you're talking about your son. Then I'm going to ask this question, and you go. You know, talk about your son and the kind of world we're living in. Young men struggling, and this show is really about men, right? Bridging generations. Voices of Men, I would say, in a changing world, and it is changing, right?
Yes,
So
it is.
you are, in this world, and you observe these young men struggling with identity issues, taking on responsibilities and relationships that you just talk about. What are some of the key principles from your perspective that you believe that will help these young men who are out there struggling?
One is, I think, as I said something about relationship.
Yes.
Young men need real relationships. I'm seeing that there's no way around it. Doesn't matter what we think about giving them gifts and whatever it is. I thought I knew about reaching young men until my son was born, and I would say it this way: that I'll be around and providing things, and he has this way of saying, "Daddy, you are busy. Let's play," and I'll be whatever it is, and just to stop to play with him. And to him, that's the world. To me, it's 5 minutes and maybe I have something to do, but to him, he remembers. And so he will remind me that he remember when we played football, remember when we did this. Yesterday we were at a baptism and we were, doing some things at the river, and he wanted to go in the water. And this morning was like, he had so much fun. It's not about the baptismal thing. It's about the water. And he's there. And what he remembers from that is enjoying time with me. So back to the question, our young men need persons to be there for them. Relationship is big. And we'll talk about relationship. I'm not just making it transactional where we just get them from here to there. Really just sit down, be a friend. Talk to them, listen. Even if they're talking something that's not so wise or sensible, but listen, build that relationship. Things are moving too fast, and we need to slow down. So the principle is that things are moving fast, but we need to slow down and build relationship. The other thing is, in the relationship, be honest. If it is that I cannot provide something for you, I'm going to be honest. I cannot do it, but I may be able to find the resource for you. And even while we're finding the resource, we need to allow our young men to kind of find things on their own. Everybody realize what's happening? We can't get Google, AI. I would encourage persons, don't substitute or become like those kind of technologies. Allow persons want to explore. Allow them to even make mistakes, from a certain distance. Nothing that will harm them, but allow them to make that mistake. And then, from a certain position, you might ask them, what did you do wrong here? What do you think you could have done differently? And I think persons learn better that way, and they appreciate your support. So I think, those two things, there could be others, but I don't think young men need this type of technology. They need relationship. They need somebody who they can call, who they can message, and they'll say, hey, I'm having an issue. And the final thing I would say, for older men, be confidential. I cannot stress that enough. If something is happening, and if you're going to share it with somebody, let the person know that, I'm a little bit overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. I'm going to bring in Doc, into the picture. I'm going to bring in so-and-so to get there. Let them know, because this thing of trust, when you breach someone's trust, is very hard, for it to be repaired. And so be honest with what you do. I think those three things, will solve, a myriad of problems that we're having right now. Yeah. And be present, be consistent and present. Be present. And I'm learning to be present because, I'm busy and doing all manner of things. And my wife is ensuring that I have a calendar. And my son is reminding me, Daddy, you need to be present. He's 6 and he's very vocal. I'm telling you, people say he's not 6. He's like, Daddy, you're not. So we make time. And so my wife is going to, the consultation day this week, but the other events, like I went to PTA meetings, I PTA president for the basic school when he was at basic school. And when I was on leave, I was there almost every week. So he's getting used to daddy turning up at school. His fair day was in December. I was there, at the fair with him. And so I am trying to do those things for him to see consistency and having a father there, just like my father was very present in my life. So that's
great advice. Consistency, trust, and it goes on and on. Appreciate you sharing that with us. Donna, you asked the last question. Time is of the essence, right? We don't have it all here tonight. But you asked the last question, and we'll go back to Mr. Johnson, for his final thoughts, and then we'll go around the room. So you get to ask the last question, Donna.
Okay, sure. So yeah, we've covered a lot, but what I would like to ask you in closing or segment here, Mr. Johnson, what does being a man of purpose mean to you? And how can today's young men rise above societal pressures to walk in their true calling?
Wow. That's a heavy one, man. You just lay it on me like that. So, all right. So, let me take it in two parts, right? So, what does it mean to be a man of purpose?
Yes.
I know young men rise above. What does that mean? So, I think to be a man of purpose is understand what purpose is, right? First, and to see how it is that will drive you. So, for me, I think the purpose of a thing, it means that the intention for something that was made, right? And so if it is that you understand why, get through all of the noise and get to that point of what do I like to do? Because I realize that a lot of young people don't like nothing. They don't like anything. They participate in a lot of things, but they don't like anything. And so get to that point of knowing. So I believe a man of purpose is someone who lives in the moment, and everything that they are doing, there's a goal towards it. So if it's even just meeting people and socializing, there's a goal towards it. I'm not talking about persons thinking having a hidden agenda, no. But there's a goal. When I go to socialize, at the end of it, I want to enjoy myself. I want to know that I know somebody. I've been on this program. There's a goal, knowing that, hey, I'm connecting with other persons. And so I leave with that sense of, fulfillment, that I don't really waste time. And also, a man of purpose, whatever it is, you're not just busy. Whatever you're doing, you make sure it counts. How do we help some young men? It goes back to some of the things I said. One is community. You must have a community. You must have a friend. I'm telling you, you must have a friend. And so get a friend. That's one. Yeah. And get a friend, and also get somebody who's a mentor. Now, there's a difference. The friend will be there maybe on your level, but the mentor will pull you up. I know that, if Doc and I in a mentorship relationship, right? One, I think that Doc is your mentor. And there are things he sees about you, and he comes and he says, hey, you need to change this. He's not going to change his mind. He's going to pull you up to that. So get somebody in your life that will keep you accountable to that. I did a ministry on Friday night, and it was at an event called Keswick Kingston. First time I'm presented to anybody like that, right? That crowd. And when I finished, and from behind, I felt a hug. That was one of my mentors. Yeah? Wow. Dr. Herbert Judd Mackley. We call him Pastor Ben. Mm-hmm. Hugging me and say, I was here. I am gone. He didn't stay the whole night. So that kind of person who said, hey, if I said something, he's going to message me and say, that was doctrine that never right. Make sure you correct that next time. So I know that these people are there. So young men, just young people, get those persons in. And the mentors, please, let's not be annoyed at the young men. They can be rude. Yeah. They can be rude, but let's not be offended by their rudeness. Let's remember, one, when you used to give little trouble. You know, remember when you didn't listen and find a way to stay there in their life because you know that they need you. And so, you know, those are the things I would really want to leave with. Let's not give up on the next generation.
Let us not give up on the future, right? Because if you give up on the next generation, you're giving up on your future. So I know I had said that was going to be the last question, but mind if I ask another question, guys? All right.
No,
so
please.
You're a teacher.
Yes.
Yeah, that's you, right? You're a teacher. Now I want you to position yourself in a classroom, an auditorium, with a couple of hundred students, male students, young boys in Jamaica. Send them a message.
Wow. One, you're not a mistake. You were born with a purpose. It doesn't matter where you're from. You may have come from rural area. You may have come from what you call an inner city. You know, persons, there is purpose in your life. Jesus grew up in a place called Bethlehem, was almost like the ghetto at the time. Yeah? But he lived out his purpose. And so you too, you may be struggling right now with, you know, lack of food and money, but that is even teaching you how to be a manager and a resource person, you know, how to make that mackerel and rice into a gourmet dish, put some sweet pepper on it, some scallion, and that's just, and make it beautiful. So what you're having tonight is not mackerel. You're having, you know, fish in tomato sauce. And so you could be wherever you are, just dream. And the next thing is that whatever is happening to you right now, all you need is the right perspective. And you need somebody. And so for me, I commit myself to you to be here to help you through the difficult situations. And if I cannot help you, I'm going to find help for you. So that's what I would say. Yeah.
Wow. That is what he said, not will say. All right. So, Jermaine, you know, I want to give you an opportunity to give us, you know, your closing arguments and add anything else that we didn't ask that you would like to say. And I would like you to speak to how young adults can get involved with your all the different things that you're doing, because you're doing so many different things. And if you want to add in there a little bit about your legacy, if that is important to you as well as you close out.
Yeah, just want to say to, you know, persons that, as I said, one of the major organizations that I'm, you know, that has helped me is Passion and Purity. And passion, as I said, living out your passion, but also in purity. And purity here goes beyond sexual purity. It's talking about you being at the job, being honest, you know, serving persons and being true to what it is that you need to do. There are some young people, you may think that whatever you're doing is a mistake. I am here to also say to you that every single thing that you go through is for a purpose. I'm currently doing something in broadcasting, and years ago I did some sound technician work at church, and I thought I left that alone. And now, fast forward about 10 years later, I know I have to deal with equipment and whatever it is, and I'm able to do that because of some of the things. So anything that you're doing now, there is a purpose. And for Passion and Purity, you can reach out to us on, you know, Facebook at Passion and Purity Jamaica. You can also reach out to us in terms of sending us an email at Passion and Purity JA at Yahoo, or Passion and Purity J at yahoo.com. And, you know, just send us a message. We are on Instagram, we are on TikTok, wherever. Just type in Passion and Purity Jamaica. And for more than anything else, there's a YouTube channel with quite a bit of resources of, you know, not just our conferences, but we have skits, we do drama, real life issues in drama. And so you can go and download all of, so churches, youth groups can get them. And if you want to go on Amazon as well, you can get our books too. And these are resource materials for young people and for older persons. So Dr. Donna, Dr. Juan, Dr. Laxley, you are not too old. You, inside of God, we are all children. And so when you come onto these platforms, you're going to see all people. So those are my closing words. I just want to say thanks to my family, and every single person that's connected to me in any way. You have helped to shape my life. And I want to say thanks. Big up to, Passion and Beauty founders again. Mrs. Norman, Donette Norman, and Mr. Andrew. They are both pastors. They are my pastors. And so I want to say thanks to each and every person. If I start calling names, I'm going to get in trouble. But big up to Shemina Johnson, my wife. Thank you, honey. And Malachi, my son. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to many more years. That's that I will close with.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
You appreciate that. Appreciate that. Dr. Donna, final thoughts?
Yes, I just, thank you so much for being with us and sharing your wealth of knowledge, of course, and the work that you're doing. And just wanted to say that you've inspired me this evening, and I hope for everyone who's listening, you've also been inspired, and for us to just go out there and continue doing the good work. And like you said, don't give up on our youth.
Right.
They are our future. And once again, that's the sentiment. I'm just going back to Jamaica. That's the sentiment that I'm hearing from all these phenomenal teachers that have graced us, including yourself, Mr. Johnson, is our youth. Let's just be there for our youth and not give up on our youth.
Wow. Thank you, Dr. Donna. And Dr. Donna, thanks for joining us today.
Yes.
Yay.
Always a pleasure.
Yes, always. Whenever Donna show up on our platform here, things sort of just jump up a little bit, right?
Yeah, it's so much lighter. It's so much brighter.
Big bit.
Add something to the platform,
yes,
right?
Radiance.
Holy. All right. Holy. So, so Dr. Donna is the CFO for A Collision with Purpose. Yeah, and the organizer for everything that is anything. So, anyway, Jermaine, man, I really appreciate you coming on. You actually came on at very short notice.
Yeah.
It was a few days notice. We need someone.
We have to be ready, man.
You sure are ready.
Yeah.
You showed that tonight.
Yeah.
Your journey, your passion, right, and your unwavering commitment to guiding these young people towards faith, purpose, and purity. Nothing short of inspiring. And Donna said it. You inspired her, but you also inspired Juan and myself. And I can speak for me, and I'm sure I'll go out there and speak for Juan as well. Through your work as an educator, you're a mentor and a leader in ministry. You have not only impacted individual lives, but you have sown seeds of transformation across generations in Jamaica, and I'm sure outside of Jamaica as well. Your dedication to shaping young minds, standing firm in faith, and leading with integrity is a testament to what it truly means to be a man of purpose. And you are that man. You've shown that. And I just want to say something to our audience, anyone listening. Let Jermaine's story be a reminder that no matter where you come from, no matter the challenges you face in life, purpose is within reach. It is yours. You just need to pursue it in an intentional way. And there's power in mentorship, strength in faith, and hope in perseverance. And you have done that. They've dropped you off in classes where you didn't want to be. They're now giving you positions, as the president of that same place where they dropped you off, but you didn't run away from it. You didn't shy away from it. You said you're a resilient man. You show resilience, So understand that the next generation needs us, right? our guidance, our wisdom, and our willingness to walk alongside them as they find their own path. So if nothing else, I want you to take this to heart, that your purpose is not just about what you do, but about the lives you impact along the way. And that's my final take tonight. So thanks, Jermaine. Let's turn it over to our closer, Dr. Juan Marcel.
Yes. Look, I'll leave it with this to our voices. That's what we call our audience. To the voices out there, tuning in. We appreciate you. To our distinguished guests, we appreciate you wholeheartedly. But I'll say this, and I want to reiterate this, something that Jermaine Johnson touched on. I want to reiterate it this way, is that oftentimes we'll find ourselves in circumstances and situations, and sometimes we can't shift the situation, but we can shift our perspective. So it's not what we're going through, but it's how we look at it. It's how we view it. So regardless of what you're going, where you're sitting, choose to change your view, and it may actually change your situation. So as often, we thank you. Every week, same time, Monday, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. We look forward to seeing you next week. We thank you for tuning in tonight. Have a good one.
All right, and we're going to close out with Bold Kid, right? And Jermaine, if you could just hang around for a second after we close, we'd appreciate that.
Yes,
I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid. I wake up in the morning and I praise the Lord. I thank Him for His protection, and I walk in His steps, declaring that today's provision is set up for me. I love God and I love my friends. I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid. I put on my armor and I read His word. Blessing come out of my mouth, 'cause I know to whom I belong. I am bold for Christ.